splendor. Different. It must be so if he's in the picture. Fabulous beauties, all of them dolls, every one different. They've got to be when he's around.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
The new Bond.
Suppose I were to kill you for a thrill.
The different 007. George Lazenby. The different Bond from the same stable. Diana Rigg as the Comtesse, the different Bond woman. This one's got class and style. The villains with a difference. Telly Savalas as Blofeld, a new destructive force.
With the difference, if my demands are not met, I shall proceed with the systematic extinction of whole species of cereals and livestock all over the world.
Gabrielle Fazzetti as Draco, a tough mafia daddy with a problem child.
Papa, where's James?
Don't worry, you'll join us soon.
But we can't leave him!
Doesn't need your help.
I will not go without you!
You'll have to.
On the day you marry her, I'll give you a personal dowry of £1,000,000.
Oh. 007 times more exciting than your wildest dream. The creative skills of the cinema's master filmmakers.
We'll hit the rush hour.
If you think you know your Bond, think again. This one's different. This one's got heart.
I love you. I know I'll never find another girl like you. Will you marry me?
Time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a James Bond 007 movie that was released on December 19th, 1969. I am now reviewing the first and only movie to feature George Lazenby. Is it good or not? Well, let's find out by starting with the story. This time James Bond goes undercover to pursue Blofeld, who is planning on holding the world ransom for a germ warfare plot. I'm not even going to give you a dramatic build-up to this. The movie shell-shocked me with this shit, so I'm gonna do it to you guys. This is what I would consider the first dark James Bond movie. No, it's not just because of that ending, which I will get to later. The whole movie has an underlying darkness to it. Blofeld's plan is probably the most disturbing plan he has ever had in this series. He takes a bunch of women with different allergies and brainwashes them into participating in using biological weapons to basically make every single species extinct. The worst fucking part about it is we don't really know if the women ever find out that was his plan or if they were able to get out of the situation. Even ignoring that, Blofeld reaches a new low in doing things that I really fucking object to. Brainwashing and using germs as weapons, to me, those are some of the worst things that a human being could ever do. But that is not the only example. James Bond at one point resigns from MI6 because he feels like he's not useful to them anymore. They actually comply without even arguing with him. So yeah, a real sense of apathy on their part. How do I feel about this? Well, I think it is a really damn good way of making you sympathize with Bond. I really did want him to succeed. But it comes with some problems that I do have with the story. There were some parts that really did make me uncomfortable. The conversation between Bond and Blofeld when Blofeld discusses his plan is really hard to listen to. It really got under my fucking skin. What's worse is that some of it was avoidable. This is probably the longest classic James Bond movie. Although that may have to do with the fact that there are more moments where the story just stops in order for some random shots of cinematography. While many of these shots look good, at some point you really gotta say, okay, can we move the story along? That has been a problem with many early 007 movies, but this movie is probably the worst in that regard. Yes, even more than Thunderball. But when the story does get going, it is genuinely really good. How do I feel about George Lazenby? Well, I wouldn't say he is terrible, but I definitely see why he only did one movie. He has that 007 charm, but some of his line delivery is a bit off. I mean, at the time, he had practically no acting experience, so yeah. But he did the best he could, which is admirable. I also really do like the part when Bond carries a Playboy magazine. That is definitely something our fucking hero would do. The Bond girl here is Tracy. And while she's not my favorite Bond girl, she's alright. She has some charm, which you would fucking hope she would, considering Diana Rigg plays her. I guess one of my biggest gripes with the movie is the writing. I already went over the scene with Bond and Blofeld, but the writing is bad in other ways too. Bond says that guns make me nervous when he is disguised as Bray, but he says it again later in an action scene. Why? I have no fucking clue. That is not something that Bond would ever goddamn say. Although he does say it in a monotone voice, so you could interpret him as not actually meaning it. To be fair, this is the only movie where he says it. Still, it's hard to take that line seriously when we are shown nothing but contradictory information in not just this movie, but in other movies in the series. I don't know, maybe Richard Mybum just had an off day at work. Some of the lines from Tracy at the end make me uncomfortable, which actually gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about the ending. If you have not seen this movie and you really want to, skip to the timestamp in the description of this video. On Her Majesty's Secret Service has the saddest ending in the entire 007 series. What about No Time to Die? I'm going to say this one. There are two amazing things about that claim. First of all, I knew about the sad ending before I even watched the movie, and that did not in any way diminish the impact that scene had. The other thing, James Bond survives throughout the whole movie. So what happens? James Bond and Tracy get married. However, as they are driving to go on their honeymoon, it is revealed that Blofeld survived the attack on the base, albeit with injuries, and his henchwoman fires her gun into the car and kills Tracy. Bond then weeps while cradling Tracy's lifeless body. What makes this scene so sad is that Bond pretty much failed the mission, and his wife died almost as soon as he married her. Bond never married another woman again. Honestly, I don't blame him at fucking all. The somber music in the end credits makes this scene sting a hell of a lot more. It is honestly kind of beautiful. But before I give my final thoughts, I want to talk about the action scenes and the production values, because they're actually worth talking about. The action scenes are pretty fucking good. There are a lot of fight scenes. James Bond could be the ultimate fighter in this movie. There are also a heavy dose of explosions and a lot of gunplay in the final action scene. The action is very satisfying. The production values are also really good. The cinematography is excellent. The editing is especially good, with some great use of quick cuts. But they're never used to the point of being nauseating. They are used to enhance the story. Oh wait, no. They are used to enhance the experience, much like the Wild Bunch. The sound is decent. However, the music I'm kind of mixed on. The score is really good, but to be honest, I don't really care for the song all the time in the world. Although that may be due to the fact that I don't really care for Louis Armstrong. But I will gladly listen to this over What a Wonderful World. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is one hell of an experience, to be sure. If you want to know what it's like to have your moment of victory ruined by someone else, watch this movie. I truly feel that if we didn't have this movie, we probably wouldn't have movies like License to Kill or any other darker James Bond movies. However, what keeps this book from being one of my favorite 007 movies is the fact that some of the dark material can go a little bit overboard, to the point where it gets uncomfortable. Oh, and the pacing is much slower than normal for some reason. Still, this movie is way better than No Time to Die. Most of the time, I pretend that fucking movie doesn't exist, but I'm mentioning it here because it is actually an apt comparison. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is what No Time to Die tried and failed to be. For all 007 fans, I recommend at least watching this movie. I give On Her Majesty's Secret Service 3 out of 5 stars. Anyway, I'm Spike Robot. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. And take it easy. Honor the freedom, Jingos.
The sorrow weighs down on my shoulder.